Greetings, class. I'm doing this for two classes, an English 205 or 124 Grossmont equivalent, and a lower level class for Grossmont. You're both writing argumentative essays. And often an argumentative essay involves a concession. And what is a concession? That's what I want to go over with you guys now. A concession is the opposite of your opposite argument of what you're doing. So, for example, if I'm doing guns and I'm saying that, which is a topic we're doing in Grossmont right now, if I'm saying that we should ban semi-automatic weapons, if that's an argument I want to have in a paper, the opposite of that would be it's too hard to ban semi-automatic weapons because too many guns are semi-automatic weapons. So you want to come up with counters for arguments. That's very, very important. And so I'm just going to go over briefly what a concession is. But before I do that, let me just add for mental health. So you're trying to come up with a solution for mental health for our San Diego Mesa essays, right? We're coming up with a solution. The opposite of that would be why we shouldn't fix mental health. One would be it's too expensive. That's a great topic. You could say that we're already doing enough. That's another good topic, but you have to go opposite to what you're saying. And let's talk about this. What makes an argumentative essay different than a persuasive essay, different than a research essay, different than any of the rhetorical modes is that you have to have an opposing side. You have to show the other side. And why? Well, it makes you more credible. It makes you more knowledgeable. It makes it easier to listen to you. It's like you're taking the other side and saying, listen, I want to understand where you're coming from, and here are your arguments, and I'm listening. I see where you're coming from, and I understand it. And that's the heart of an argument, is you have to take the other side. A couple years ago, I was doing the ethics bowl at San Diego State, where you had people coming in from all across the country to debate. And what they did was they had groups of 5 on both sides of the room, group of 5 over here, group of 5 over here. And they were just given a topic, maybe lethal injection. And this side had to make this argument, and this side had to make that argument. So they had to fight, essentially. And they were given like 15 minutes to come up with their arguments and counter arguments, and they had to pose them to each other. So this is the heart of academia. It's in a lot of academia. It's a lot. You'll find it a lot in college writing and academic writing, argumentative essays. So it's important for us to experiment with this style. The way a concession works is this is a horrible example. Let's say that you have a significant other, and they say, why didn't you do dishes today? Now, it would be very easy to just yell and get mad and get angry, right? And this isn't from my experience. I don't have a significant other, so don't think this is me right now. But sometimes it's better to take the other side. So when your significant other says, why didn't you do the dishes? Sometimes it's better to take their side and say, you know what? Let me understand where you're coming from. I understand that dishes are important to you. You've done chores your entire life. This is something you grew up with. This is something you value. Also, on the calendar, you wrote that I'm supposed to do dishes this day, and I didn't. And then you can get into your arguments. Like, you could then argue that, when I met you, I told you that I'm not somebody who just does dishes, and I'm not going to change. And that's also how you get shot or beat up or broken up with. But ideally, if you're listening to what I'm saying, that is a concession, is the opposite side. You have to take the opposite side in an argument, especially in an academic essay. Now, in the future, you might have some teachers who want you to put the concession in different places. Some teachers like the concession to be near the conclusion. I don't like it there, and I'll tell you why. If you end your paper at the conclusion, the reader just remembers your conclusion. They don't remember anything else you wrote. I think it's easier to put the concession up generally after the introduction, and then the rest of your paper refutes it, and then the reader is left with your argument. So I think that's a much stronger way to do a concession. Some teachers like concessions woven throughout in every paragraph. I think that's so much harder to do, because then it's hard to balance all of that. But just know there's more than one way to do a concession. And if your teacher says they want it at the end, then like I said on day one, listen to your teacher. But if you have a choice, if you had a choice in the matter and the teacher's not clear, I would probably put the concession in the second paragraph, and then the rest of the paper can refute it. And I'm gonna do 2 other videos that get into much deeper analysis on how to do concessions for your individual papers, both Mesa and Grossmont. And I'm also going to put a sample concession on Canvas. Okay, so this is just an introduction to concessions.